Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Yarns with Andy. In today's episode, we're actually going to uncover why New Zealand graduates struggle to get work, how construction companies can retain the best talent. Welcome, Kevin. Kevin Leadingham from TurboStaff.
Yes, thanks for having me.
Mate, thank you for being here. Thank you for making the time for being here. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I'm originally from Scotland.
Yeah.
I've lived in New
The
Zealand.
accent didn't give it away, mate.
Of course not, yeah. Sounds like I just arrived yesterday, but I've been here for 13 years now.
And none of the Kiwis rubbed off on you? The accent didn't rub off on you?
It hasn't rubbed off fully, but when I talk to my friends and relatives back in Scotland, they do think that my accent has changed a little
Really?
bit. I don't realise, but sometimes they say that there's
yeah.
a little bit of a twang there. But yeah, I haven't picked it up myself.
Would you pick up the A? What's up, bro?
Sometimes, yeah, actually,
The A?
I do sometimes say the A. Yeah, I do. I don't say yeah, nah, but we say in Scotland, sometimes we're like, yeah, no.
Oh, yeah,
So
no.
we do something similar, yeah.
Yeah, cool. Anyway,
so-
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Carry on. You
No,
tell
that's
me
all
about
good.
yourself.
So yeah, 13 years. I've been in recruitment this is my 10th year now.
Oh, wow. 10 years in recruitment?
10 years in recruitment, all in New Zealand as well. I didn't do it when I was in the UK. I got out of recruitment for 3.5 years. I did a sabbatical, we'll call it, when I went outside of recruitment to join a market-leading pipelines manufacturer.
Oh, yeah.
And then that was in the civil infrastructure space. But I did miss recruitment. I missed being closer to the action. So I went back into it in
What's action
2021.
for you? What's classified action for you? I'm curious.
Just getting really close to market trends, industry trends.
Yeah.
Which sectors are thriving, which ones aren't, and sometimes that's hard to tell when you're not right in the coalface. And recruitment gives you that opportunity to see which markets are thriving and which ones aren't. Maybe quicker than if you don't watch the news and if you don't keep on track of it.
So are you going to give us the goss on all of that today?
I'll give you some information around what we're seeing in the market for sure, the graduate stuff that you want to discuss, and I'm sure there'll be other things that come up along the way as well.
Yeah, mate, for sure. Let's just kick this off then.
Yeah.
Give us the insights. What's going on? Give us the goss on what's going on. What's the trends? What's happening?
Yeah, so in terms of the trends, I think we all understand, that there's a severe skill shortage in New Zealand. There's a lot of people that have decided to either go to the UK or go to Australia. And it's people across the board. It's from entry level,
Not just
right
Australia,
through.
Brisbane in specific.
Yeah, Sydney, Brisbane, because of the opportunity that exists there, the size and scale of projects.
It's not just that. The Olympics are upcoming and it's going to be in Brisbane. So
Yeah. And that's where the big projects will come into it, in terms of infrastructure. And there are a lot of people that take pride in working on really substantial projects. And that comes into their decision-making process, regardless of if they're entry level or even if they're senior, because they're looking at getting that exposure. They want better wages. They want how they perceive potentially a better standard of life or better living conditions.
Are you telling me we don't have a good standard of life in New Zealand?
Definitely not. But the perception of some of the people that have decided to go is that they can potentially have a better standard of living if they go and live in the UK or if they go and live in Australia. Don't know where it comes from, but there has been a few people even close to me that have put that as their decision-making factor when they've decided to move.
You know why I've thought about moving to Australia? You know why I wouldn't move?
No?
I'm paranoid about being bitten by a snake, eh?
Oh,
or
really?
even seeing a snake.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely fucking paranoid about it. Like, it's my biggest fear in life.
Yeah, there's a lot of things in there that can kill you.
Yeah.
So
mate.
it's not for everyone.
It's not for everyone.
But yeah, the majority of people that I've spoken to, that's their main reason for it is
Better standard of living.
Yeah, better standard of living, affordable housing, better income, and the opportunity to work on bigger projects.
So what do you think is going on in New Zealand that's actually driving people out of the country?
Well, you've got lots of projects on hold. Lots of projects are being cancelled. So you got 3 waters that were cancelled. Rail was cancelled. KO's under the microscope now as well. So what does that look like, for a lot of subcontractors and main contractors in that field too? So there's the project element, but then you've also got the cost of living. You've also got affordable housing. You've also got the lack of infrastructure as well.
And the enormous interest rates.
Yeah, then you've got the interest rates too, and the salaries compared to Australia are just nowhere near. So there's a multiple.
Can you give us a little bit of a breakdown on that? Just that point you said, comparison of salaries.
Yeah. So
say I'm a project engineer.
Yeah.
Percentage wise, how much more you reckon I'd get in Australia in comparison to New Zealand?
Yeah, I'd say it would be at least 15 to 20% more.
15, 20% more?
Yeah, I reckon.
Well, say the tax brackets, the highest tax bracket there is what, 40%? The highest tax bracket here is 39%.
Yeah.
So even the tax brackets don't really come into play.
Yeah.
So you still get another 15 to 20%
Yeah.
pay rise with a better exchange rate.
Exactly. So that's what
Shit.
attracts a lot of people to go. And we can't blame them for that, you know. So
And cost of living is cheaper there too, isn't it?
essentially day-to-day stuff, but I have heard from friends that have moved over to Australia that actually rent prices and utility bills are not too far off actually what we're paying here.
Yeah.
But because they get the better salary, it feels like they've got a better condition.
Yeah.
Where if they actually ran the numbers right to the bottom dollar, what would it actually equate to overall? That would be interesting.
That would be interesting.
see,
Yeah. I've done a few of those scenarios.
Yeah.
When the tax in New Zealand was 33%, it made absolute sense. But then the fear of snakes kicked in. So
Yeah.
I just went, yeah, nah.
And then stayed
I'm happy here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, okay, that's really interesting. So, but this is turning out to be a big problem for New Zealand right now, isn't it?
Yeah.
The brain drain out of this country, qualified professionals leaving the country.
Yeah. And like I say, though, it's not even just qualified professionals, it's from entry level too. You know, I went to a faculty that puts people through qualification for carpentry, plumbing, electrical trades. And, you know, a lot of the people in these courses haven't had work experience yet. And I went out to present to them about 12, 18 months ago about the potential of, you know, finding employment in New Zealand. And the company I was working for at the time, they also had a presence in Australia.
Yeah, right.
So after my presentation to these newly qualified students, after the presentation was over, the first thing they asked me was, how do I get into Australia? And these are guys that have had no work experience in New Zealand at all, some of them, and also just fresh out of a qualification, then flip that to people who have got the experience in the industry and all the skills, the knowledge within, you know, an engineering background or a project management background, QS, commercial manager, etc. So there's multiple people that are looking to move on, and that causes huge problems from the ground level up.
100%.
Yeah.
So you follow the trends quite closely, don't you?
I do, and because of the fact that I'm involved in recruitment as well, I can see based on which projects are requiring more staff and which ones are slowing down.
Yeah.
Whether there's a lull coming or whether it's just a temporary lull, or where's the upside? You know, where's the upside?
Sounds like I should be giving you a call every week, mate. I need those insights, eh?
The issue we've got right now, though, is it's hard to see where the upside's coming from because there's a lack of clarity from the government in terms of which projects are going to be, you know, the next cab off the rank, what's going to be the next big thing. Transmission Gully's been done and dusted a long time ago. NX2's done and dusted a long time ago.
Yeah.
Now you've got Eastern Busways already underway, Penlink's underway, Commercial Bay's done and dusted, finished ages ago, CRL's now coming to an end, Central Interceptor
Hopefully.
done and dusted as well, pretty much. You know, for the pipeline installation side. Yeah. So the big question is, outside of the airport, where is the next project? Like, where is that next big marquee
RX is
project?
cancelled.
Yeah.
So where is the next? That is a challenging question, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's a question for the Infrastructure Commission in New Zealand.
Yeah.
Where are the next projects? Funny enough, though, have you checked out the Infrastructure Commission's webpage recently?
No.
That's quite interesting. You should go on and have a look. They've put out pipeline works.
Okay. And how up to date is it? How accurate is it?
I don't know about the accuracy, but I skimmed through it.
Yeah.
And it was just a dashboard of just timeline with upcoming projects or past projects. It just felt like it was too cluttered, the information. I couldn't really get down to just identifying exactly the question we're asking.
Yeah.
What is the upcoming work for New Zealand?
Yeah.
Where is the money being invested?
Yeah.
You know? But I couldn't easily answer that. I spent about 15 minutes on that site. Admittedly so. I'm not going to spend any more than that.
Yeah.
If I can't get information in 15 minutes, you're not engaging with the audience that, you know?
Yeah.
I kind of felt that way. I was like, right, okay. I tried drilling through it and just going through projects, and I was like, oh, that project's done. Why is that on the list? That's a completed project. Like, that timeline's inaccurate. It just felt like it was a lot of clutter, but it did give you a whole list of like small size projects, big projects, the whole lot.
Yeah.
I don't know how accurate it is though.
Okay.
Have a look.
I'll have a look, and I can cross-check it with another system that we use to track major projects.
Secret system. What's that called?
Pacificon.
I use Pacificon.
I'll cross-check it with Pacificon and see how accurate it is. And again, we're relying on that information being true and correct as well. So
Yeah. So what do you reckon New Zealand can do to change its current trajectory? Because it almost feels like doom and gloom. We're hitting a bus cycle.
Yeah.
We're not kind of, we can't see the light at the end of the tunnel. What should we be doing differently, in your professional opinion?
Yeah, I think this isn't just a 2025 problem. I think this is, from the 13 years I've been here, I remember skill shortage always being a thing. There was always people coming and going. But in terms of current situation, what they can do better and differently would definitely be to revisit the pay rates and look at market versus, what is being paid at the moment. What benefits are you offering your employees, and really looking into those policies as well. And then also create a culture where
That's from a company perspective.
Yes.
What about a country perspective? Is there something we could be doing differently as a whole country?
It's not just a one size fits all though, because everyone's got a part to play. These organizations have a part to play.
100%.
In terms of pay rates, benefits, and making it a safe place where someone feels empowered to go to their manager and have a conversation about their current pay rate or their working conditions. Do they want more work-life balance? It's important that they build a trusted relationship so that those the skilled employees or the employees they want to retain are talking to them before they talk to me to say, hey, I'm not getting what I want to move on. Because my first question is always, have you asked for that? If you want a project closer to home, have you asked for that? So the companies can definitely build more trust with their employees to have open dialogue without fear of repercussion for having had the conversation. Then the government can do more through being very clear and precise on project timeframes and timelines when they come into power, and also throughout their tenure.
Therein lies the problem, what you said, when they come into power.
Yeah.
Why?
So that's why
I've mentioned this before on the podcast as well. Why do political parties get to campaign on infrastructure projects?
Yeah,
I challenged Construction Minister Chris Pink on that, and after that is when they actually launched the Infrastructure Commission, which is quite cool. But I think we'll watch the space, what the Infrastructure Commission does. I'd be keeping a close eye on it. I'm sure you will too.
Yeah, 100%. Especially now that you've mentioned, that it's been recently updated, because I didn't realize that was the case. So it's good for me to know that. And I'll cross check it and see how true and how accurate the information is.
And then I can call you for the insight?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
That's all right.
The companies can do a lot. The government can certainly do a lot too. And then you've got interest rates, affordable housing. There's so many moving parts that need to, it has to be a collaborative effort, I believe, yeah.
Yeah, man. No, that's really cool. Some cool views on what we could be doing collectively to improve our current situation. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
So, Kev, it's pretty apparent that graduates coming out of AUT, University of Canterbury, engineering graduates are struggling to land jobs in construction. Would that be a valid statement for me to say?
Yeah, I think across the board, there's
not just in construction.
Not just in construction. There's hundreds of grads all competing for very little positions that are available. Engineering specifically, you're 100% right, because even grad programs now are getting hundreds more applicants than what they were before, because now there's fewer of them, because companies are trying to hire on experience now versus just at the grassroots level. So it's a highly competitive market for sure. There is sometimes a skill disparity as well between what a company is looking for in experience versus what you get taught in a classroom. So what happens in a classroom versus what happens in the field.
Theory versus practical. That's always been the challenge, isn't it?
Yeah.
So say I was a construction graduate or a graduate from a course in AUT, doing my construction project management course or engineering course, and I want to get into construction. What would you recommend that I do?
I've managed to help a lot of people in recent years through that very process. And the same thing that I gave to everyone was have a clear vision of what you want to be, not in 5 to 10 years from now, but certainly once you graduate. So if you want to come out of university having had some work experience in the field and set a pathway towards being a site engineer or a project engineer, what does that actually look like? And bring it back to...
What if I don't know, Kev?
Yeah, so bring it back to the basic fundamental of what's the entry level that I need to go into before I can become an engineer, because it's going to be very difficult to come straight from uni and go straight into a site engineer role.
Yeah.
And that tends to be civil labouring, project administrator, site administrator, so that you're getting access to what's happening day to day on a site. So a lot of graduate site engineers that I helped to get employment, it was actually through putting them into civil labouring positions within tier 1, tier 2
Oh, yeah,
contractors,
cool.
where they were getting
And all of this is while they were studying.
Exactly, yeah. So this
Wow,
was during
that's pretty
term
cool.
breaks.
Yeah,
So what I
yeah.
would suggest to anyone who's currently going through university, don't leave it till your fourth year or your third year. From first year, you should have a clear goal of, I want experience, I need experience, where am I going to find it? Which companies are hiring on, the main job platforms at the moment? Which companies have got the biggest projects? Which companies align with my values? Who do I respect? Who do I idolize? And then make the pathway of either contacting someone like myself in the recruitment side of the world to find out who they've got relationships
Yep.
with, or do the introduction yourself. If you're
Yeah,
going to
yeah.
send a CV through, maybe pick up the phone, introduce yourself,
Yeah.
give the why as to why you're ringing them and why you're making contact, and then send your CV.
100%.
Give it some time, follow up. So really
Yeah.
take ownership of your own destiny as well. And being able to actually manage the study with the work experience. Sometimes they'll see something that's happened on site, and then they haven't even learned about it in a lecture yet. And then the lecturer will say something, and then they'll ring a bell, and they'll say, "Oh, I actually came across that on site." So it's a really cool situation to put themselves into.
Yeah.
And during term breaks, a lot of companies will want that same person to come back and work for them again.
Yeah, right.
And if it comes to an application process, well, every company that's hiring staff is going to look for industry experience over and above the degree.
Which if you've done your internships, you already have.
Yeah, and a reference from an employer who you've worked for in the field is going to hold more weight than a lecturer or a tutor giving you a reference. Of course, it still holds weight, but I would think that someone in the field that you've worked for would be able to give a truer reflection
100%.
of how you would perform.
So interesting, right? So I'm passionate about educating. It's probably why I'm running a podcast, I suppose.
Yeah.
I go to AUT sometimes to do guest lectures when I'm invited to do guest lectures on controls planning, things that I'm good at. So I love doing that. And then after that, I get a whole bunch of messages from the guys that say, I'm applying for jobs, but I get no responses. What do I do?
Yeah.
I'm like, just call me first. I'm not having a full-on chat conversation with you.
Yeah.
So I'll have a proper phone conversation. I'll be like, right, what have you been doing? You've been, applying for jobs. Oh, I've applied on Seek. I've applied on this platform. I've applied on LinkedIn. I get no responses back. But I'm like, do you want a phone? Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're talking to me with the phone?
Yeah.
Pick up that phone, find the number of the person who's recruiting.
Yeah.
Call the person.
100%.
All right. And just say, can we meet up for a cup of coffee so I can actually articulate my value proposition that you can then go show to any construction company and say, this person has this to offer.
Yeah, absolutely. And
it's as simple as that. In the number of people that just want to just hide behind a computer screen and just go push, 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 push. No, but I've customized my CV and I've sent it.
Yeah.
How many CVs do you receive, Kev? On a daily basis, how many CVs do you receive?
There's 50 plus CVs,
per day.
And that's not just for one particular role though. That's across,
across.
working multiple roles. But
then you as a recruiter
CVs
have to
come
look through
yeah.
50 CVs.
Absolutely, yeah, to sift through, what's good and what's relevant, and it's about giving feedback on that too, though, and if there are graduates,
do you give feedback to all 50 of them?
Well, it depends on if they're in the country or not as well,
Yeah, okay.
and I always
I always
respond to them and the best way I can. But when it comes to someone's CV, even if they're really experienced, but I don't feel that there's enough information for me to actually
do anything with,
do them the best service, and for them to do themselves the best service. So some project managers and project engineers, project directors can leave out key information because it's in their head. We need to know the achievements on projects. What were the project values? What were the milestones that they hit? What new processes and protocols did they implement to mitigate risk, health and safety, QA checks? So it's given
time
that
management.
feedback. Yeah,
don't forget my job, dude.
Yeah. So those are the areas where you can give feedback, even to the experienced, candidates in the market with graduates. It's about, again, being clear on what they're looking to do, why they're looking to do it, what direction are they heading, and what do they bring to the table. If they haven't had the experience in the field, well, what else can they do to go and gain that experience and bring the best thing to the table.
Fair enough, mate. That's some gold advice right there. So if you're a graduate, pick up the phone.
Yeah.
Make a few phone calls. Go have a few coffees. Socialize. Network.
Yes.
Sound advice, mate. Sound advice. Kev, we know traditionally construction's not a sector that uptakes digitalization quickly. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
And that's not a New Zealand problem. That's a global problem.
100%.
Only with the construction sector. Yeah.
Most likely, yeah.
So, what trends are you seeing with the construction companies? Do you reckon there's enough uptake of digitalization within the market?
There's still a lot of resistance in terms of AI being perceived as a risk. They don't want to be the first person to try it, just in case it doesn't go well. So they want to sit in the wings, wait for someone else to take the risk, and then maybe jump on it later. Yeah. So it's important that if a company is going to implement AI and digitalization tools, that they understand why they're doing it, what purpose is it going to serve, what problem is it going to solve, how much are they willing to invest.
You get funneled through a lot of PDs from construction companies.
Yeah.
Is AI a skill set that construction companies are looking for right now?
In the design space, 100%.
In the design space?
Yes.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, yep.
QS, obviously, there's some tools that they'll need to use as well. Project managers will need to use certain software too.
Yeah.
But it's a nice to have rather than it being an essential skill for the other roles. Design is a critical part of a design role, whether it's in the electrical space, commercial construction, etc. Yeah.
So the uptake is there in the consultant space completely,
100%, yeah.
but not yet in the construction space.
Yeah, because some construction
interesting,
companies are using programs to manage their workflows or the RFI processes. So they use programs like Econx, they'll use Procon, or they'll use Builders Trend, etc. as well.
Yeah,
but there's not every man and his dog that are doing it. Plus, you've got SMEs that might not have the right infrastructure to support an AI tool. They might not have the funds to support it either. So the companies that tend to be able to implement it to a bigger extent are the larger businesses within construction, contractors, and also consultancies, if it goes that way.
Yeah, it's I see the same. But the problem with the construction industry and digitalization is how disparate and siloed the data is.
Yeah.
Like you can go in a construction company and the QS would do a full takeoff on an Excel spreadsheet that's just stored away on a drive somewhere. And how do you correlate that takeoff back to a design?
Absolutely. And that comes to another point I was going to make about project governance, because it's AI aside, governance is a hugely overlooked part of the industry, and it's not just in commercial construction; it's in civil infrastructure as well, where there's not enough measures taking place pre-bid to make sure that everyone's on the same page and that everyone's going to talk to each other and that everyone is managing risk, managing health and safety, managing quality as a collective, as opposed to that sits with that person, that sits with that person. And then it becomes an afterthought, governance.
Hey, watch the space. We're working on something that's potentially going to fix and alleviate a few of those problems and establish good project data structures up front in a job. And
that's brilliant.
I'm not a contact company.
Yeah.
I'm still a controls and planning company. We still do planning services.
Yeah.
But this is like a passion project for me. Like, can I ask you like an honest question, right?
Yeah.
You have ChatGPT, of course.
I do, yeah.
On your phone?
Yes.
Have you named it?
No.
Oh, come on, mate. Have you given it a personality?
No. I only use the web version. I just use the web version. Yep. So I don't use it all the time.
Pick it up and you can full on start talking to ChatGPT now.
Yeah.
Like, there's an old function, by the way. It's not something new. But if you're not doing it, like, I know a number of people in construction that don't even use ChatGPT.
Yeah.
I abuse the fuck out of it.
It's a great tool.
It's amazing.
And in recruitment, it's become this tool where there's a stigma attached to it as well, because there's people that put LinkedIn posts up that you can tell that it's not authentic, that it's not them.
Yeah.
But I do believe that it can definitely hold a lot of value if it's used in the right way.
Yeah.
And it's not being used to replace the human aspect to things.
Mate, people said, you know what, the calculators are here. Our children are not going to learn how to do math.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all learned math.
Yeah.
Computers came and then they said, oh, you know what, we're all going to be out of work.
Absolutely.
Fuck, we're working harder than ever right now.
Yeah.
With the computers, man. Like, I'll tell you, through the COVID period, that was proven. We work way harder now than we did about 15 years ago. And now AI is here. People are going, oh, it's going to take over all our jobs.
Yeah.
I'm like, if you don't adapt and adopt, it probably will.
Well, the other thing is too, though, human problems require human solutions. You know,
Yep.
so AI, it does have its place, and it will resolve a lot of repetitive tasks, and it will have its place in tracking and managing finances and
and
those
more now,
areas.
and more with AI agents.
Yeah.
That's a whole new level of AI that's gonna like get into automation, which is like beautiful. Like
Yeah. And if it can make people's lives easier and be used as a facilitation tool as opposed to a replacement tool, then that's great. But and that comes down to, again, what I was talking about earlier. You know, why are they implementing it? What's the problem they're trying to solve? What's the ROI that they expect from the AI tool as well? And how is success managed within the AI tool? Because we know how we measure success for an employee, but
Yeah.
there also has to be measures in place for an AI tool as well to be able to justify keeping it and making improvements and keep adding to it as well to get the best out of it.
Yeah, and it all starts with actually basic principles of garbage in, garbage out.
Yes.
You don't train your chat GPT and you expect it to give you great results.
Yeah.
How does that work?
And that's where the upskilling comes in, like what you said. You know, the people that don't move with the times, they can be replaced. And that's what it's really going to come down to is there are going to have to be people out there who, you know, if their companies do adopt these technologies, that they have to upskill themselves and they have to be willing to put the work in to.
I'll
to
tell you
learn.
what, sitting here, I don't know what date it is. It is 24th of January, whatever.
Yeah.
Exactly 2 years from today, I guarantee you would have at least placed one person for a position called prompt engineering.
Oh wow. Okay. Yep. I'll remember that name. Prompt engineering.
Yep.
Yeah.
It is a real job now. It's just that we haven't caught up to the times.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. And prompt engineering is a real skill. Like
Yeah.
it's a finite skill of how you actually prompt AI.
Okay.
And I guarantee you're going to place somebody in the next 2 years
Yeah.
as a prompt engineer.
Okay. I'll let you know.
Come
Even sooner. Who knows? Yeah. We'll
maybe
see.
even sooner, man.
Yeah.
Like, come back on the show.
Yeah.
In 2 years. Let us know. You know.
Yeah.
Whether we're right or whether.
Maybe I'll become a prompt engineer.
There you go. There you go. Become a prompt engineer.
Yeah, I'll become a prompt engineer.
Yeah. Now, I reckon AI is going to change the face of this industry.
Yeah,
You
it
know,
will.
revolutionize it.
Eventually, yeah.
But the uptake's going to be slow, in my opinion.
Yeah.
The uptake is slow. Oh, God. Yeah.
Yeah, because you've got BIM, which is a great software for the design aspect. You've got drone mapping, which is really good as well. And we've already spoken about, you know, project management tools, etc. Too. But it's down to each company to understand what they want out of the tool in order for it to work. You know,
Exactly what you said, right? So there's 3D models, there's project management end-to-end softwares, there's siloed. Can you see the problem? Like, I can see it like clear as day in my head. It's all just siloed bits of information and it's not interconnected.
Yeah. So,
and that's the gap I think AI will help bridge in the future.
And that's again tied into the governance piece too, because then if you've got one system that's centralized, share the data, everyone understands what's going on. A PM doesn't need the QS to write a report for them. They can access the data in real time as well. So it makes actually much more sense.
And you can get an AI agent to write the report for you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're not having to spend meetings and meetings and meetings to try and get the same explanation or the same outcome. So you can focus on delivering the project on time, on budget, and look at innovations to, you know, do things better as opposed to constantly buried in the detail. Yeah.
All right. So let's wait and see if Kev hires a prompt engineer next 2 years, shall we?
Yes.
So Kev, what do you reckon about 2025, mate? Year to survive or year to thrive?
Bit of both, actually. I think the first 2 quarters of the year will be about surviving for sure.
Yeah.
But I do think by Q3 we'll see a real uptick in projects and more opportunity to thrive for those who've been able to stay the course.
How do you stay the course? Leave to Australia and come back.
Well, yeah, of course, there's always the opportunity to do that. It's only 3 hours on a flight, but the key things that people can do is definitely implement really strong governance processes during your bid phase. Don't fix your rates if you
Don't
can
fix
help
your
it.
rates, you
Don't
reckon?
fix your rates if you can
Interesting.
help it.
Yeah, right.
Insert escalation clauses to give you the opportunity to put price increases in place. Because
you're talking from a main contractor's perspective.
100%.
Yeah.
Because material costs are rising, labor costs are rising, projects are running behind because we're losing skilled people.
Yeah.
That then adds additional cost if your project runs behind and over certain timeframes. And if you haven't allowed price increases for materials, for freight, for example, as well. Freight always goes up. There's a fuel adjustment factor, and a lot of that gets missed
Yeah.
in a tender process of how much is it costing you to actually have your product delivered to site, each time. So buy in bulk when you can, deliver in bulk when you can, to make sure that you're not having to constantly go back and order when prices have increased. And definitely put in place really solid payment terms too, so that you're not having to chase payment 3 months down the track. Have steady cash flow. Don't rely on getting into debt or precarious situations to keep your business afloat.
Yeah.
Steady cash flow, I think, wins the race as well.
You really prepared for that, didn't you?
Yeah.
That was well prepared, man. I was like, do I interrupt there? Probably not. Don't interrupt him. He's on the floor. Now, interesting though. So you're telling me that the third and fourth quarter is about thriving.
Yeah.
We just finished having a conversation about how we can't see the pipeline of work coming out.
Yeah.
We have no confidence in what's happening. What gives you the confidence that third and fourth quarter will be about thriving and not about surviving?
The companies that I'm dealing with, that I'm speaking to on a daily, weekly basis.
Yeah.
Before Christmas, there were projects that were forecast to kick off by February, March.
Yeah.
These projects have now been pushed into June, July.
Yeah,
so
right.
that's where that confidence comes from, and that's everything from a data center right through to commercial construction projects as well.
Yeah.
So, and also you've got infrastructure projects with water care that need to be done too, and people are predicting that those projects are going to kick off by June, July of this year.
That's some valuable insights right there, eh? Yeah, okay. So you reckon third and fourth quarter hang in there till then?
Yeah, absolutely. And there's the companies that I'm speaking to. They're very optimistic about what the future looks like.
Yeah.
They understand it's going to be a really, really rough ride over these first few months of the year, but they can see the upside. So they're actually optimistic. The ones who have secured projects have been given verbal commitments that are just waiting for formal agreements to come through are optimistic about the outlook.
What does that mean for everybody looking for a job?
Well, it depends on the situation, and because a lot of companies, they over-resourced to satisfy their current projects, and now that these other projects are on hold, they're having to keep those guys busy, so they're not actively looking to bring in new staff unless it's replacement. So there's going to be a mixed bag of new opportunities that will come up for project engineers, design engineers, project managers, contracts managers. Those are the levels that I would see being the key demand in order to deliver the projects that are coming up. But day to day, I think there won't be so much of an uptick in day to day opportunities.
Yeah, right. So currently in the market, what are some of the jobs that you're seeing has demand?
Yeah. Design engineers for sure has demand.
That's a good sign. That means there's more work going to come out eventually.
Absolutely, yeah. But that's across electrical and civil as well.
Yeah.
A lot of QS estimator roles coming up, especially cadastral estimators. These positions are in huge demand. Project managers, contracts managers, and it's across the country. It's not just in Auckland.
Yeah, right.
Tauranga Bay of Plenty has slowed down a little bit, but the South Island is still got a lot going on as well, because you've got Dunedin Hospital, etc., kicking off. So there's a lot of HVAC and electrical companies and construction companies looking for staff in those areas too. The new stadium that's going into Christchurch as well has created a lot of demand. So I do see that there's those are the key areas that are picking up.
So it's not all doom and gloom.
No. I'm optimistic,
Yeah, that's cool, man. I love that about our conversation.
Yeah.
You've been optimistic. Sounds like I've been the pessimistic one in this conversation. It's normally the other way around,
Yeah, and I'm in recruitment, so I'm recruiting in this space.
Yeah.
If there was a downturn and if there was a severe issue, well, I wouldn't be here because I wouldn't have a job. So I wouldn't be at Turbo Staff. I would be doing something very different. I'd be in Australia,
Fair enough.
But yeah, there's confidence there based on the volume of positions that I'm actively recruiting for at the moment.
Yeah.
And what I see is going to be in constant demand throughout the course of the year. Even though we're in what we're calling potentially the worst part of the year, there's still enough there to give me the confidence that we're going to get through this okay.
Yeah, cool. Now, so for everybody hanging by a thread, don't let go.
Don't let go.
Don't let go. Yeah.
Don't fix your rates.
Don't fix your rates. Don't let go. Yeah,
Don't
that's
let
the
go.
one.
Yeah. So Andy, we've spoken quite a lot about, the the current market, the
Yep.
doom and gloom, the uptick, all the fun stuff that's happening in 2025. Outside of the work chat and the day-to-day rigmarole, what do you enjoy? What's your passion outside of work? What are you really passionate about?
And a couple of things really. One's kind of related to work,
Yeah.
but the other isn't. I've taken up golf.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Um,
Expensive hobby.
I don't think it's crazy expensive in New Zealand.
Yeah.
If you find the right. A funny story actually. Mike King got me into golf, which
Oh,
was
cool.
I went for a round of golf with Mike, and
Yeah.
he told me that I'm a decent player and I should take up golf. And
Brilliant.
I'm not a regular player, so I haven't played in about 25 years. And
Where do you play?
I'm playing next week in the club in Mount Roskill.
Yeah.
There's one there.
Okay. So you're a member there?
I'm not a member there. I'm a member of the Gumboot Golf,
Yeah.
and
So
way
that
I
gives
just
you
go-
access to certain courses and things?
Yeah,
Oh, cool.
and then you just go on a golf NZ and you sign up and whatnot. And
Yeah.
that's new. That's new. That's exciting.
And how often do you go?
It'll be my 4th round of golf next week.
Oh, wow. Handicap?
Don't have one yet. I think
Yeah.
I need to submit 5 cards at least of 18 holes.
Okay.
But I've only been playing like 9 holes or something.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure what the
So there's
stats are.
time.
Don't quote me on that. But yeah, I need to submit more cards, and eventually I'll have a handicap. But
Yeah.
I don't expect it to be too bad. It's about 28.
Oh, wow.
hopefully.
That's
30
pretty cool.
maybe. I don't know.
That's
man.
good.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah, still pretty bad. Second
Nice.
hobby,
Yes.
Python coding.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How did you learn about that? What made you want to get into it?
Don't know. I just kind of figured out that I can, rather than paying for software, I can actually create my own software using Python codes and ChatGPT and Cursor AI and Versal V0. Just
Yeah.
those 3 apps, and then you're up and away. You're just coding and creating your own apps, and it's text to code. I'm
Okay.
not even like actually sitting and writing the Python code.
Yeah.
I'm just understanding what the Python code's doing, solving a particular problem.
Yeah.
Like even just over the weekend, I was like bored and went into ChatGPT. I wanted to solve a problem because NIWA is not given the weather data quite easily.
Okay.
Like getting weather data from NIWA is almost fucking impossible right now. Like,
Yeah.
don't get me started.
Yeah.
Like, they've changed their website and it's all, yeah. So I went into Python coding and said, right, I want to analyze weather data for any particular location in the world. And you go find the closest weather station and analyze the 10 years history of the weather station.
Wow.
Yeah, I want rain, average temperature,
Yeah.
wind data, everything. All right, boom. It spat it out in an Excel spreadsheet.
Insane.
Yeah, and 2 minutes, right?
Wow.
Then I just added to that code and said, now I want my reports
Yeah.
out like this, structured this way. I want graphics produced this way. So what do I have to add to the code I amend to the code? All you need is Visual Studio and you need ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Mate, you're flying.
That's crazy.
That's
And-
crazy. And another amazing thing happened. I was trying to show my wife this, and I was like, darling, come here. Let me show you something. And I said, create a simple game, right? ChatGPT, create a simple game in Python script, use PY games. Boom. 2 minutes later, I created a game that I was just moving a little bar,
Yeah.
collecting all these little balls that were falling.
Wow.
Took me 2 minutes.
It's like Snake, but for the modern generation. Yeah.
Yeah, mate, it's like, if I can do that in 2 minutes, imagine what else you can do with Python. Like,
Absolutely,
it's
yeah.
insanity.
Yeah.
Like AI has just unlocked that for me,
Yeah.
And with that is what we're building the whole IBOQ, which I've spoken to you about.
Yeah.
You know?
It's a really cool software, and it sounds like it's going to go amazing places. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Do you want to invest?
100%.
We'll talk about it later. No, yeah, that's it, mate. That's kind of the 2 things, apart from my kids and that's what's kind of keeping me busy.
Yeah. Nice.
What about you?
Yeah, a bit of a weird and wonderful passion, but
Yeah.
quantum physics, epigenetics.
Quantum physics.
is quite a cool thing that I'm interested in,
So what do you say, quantum physics
and epigenetics.
What the fuck does that mean?
So yeah, epigenetics is how your environment alters your DNA. What you think, what you say, what you hear,
Yeah.
all has an impact on the cells in your body. So the brain
Wow, okay.
and the body don't have the body can't tell the difference between a real life situation and the thought. So if you remember a time when you were sad or when you were happy, you start to feel that way in your body. So
Yeah, right.
it alters the cells in your body to get back to that moment.
Oh,
So
wow.
literally everything that you think about, everything that you say, you hear, etc., has an impact on all
Your
those-
actual DNA.
on your DNA.
And
So-
then you pass it on to the next generation.
Well, not necessarily. So
Yeah,
Joe
yeah.
Dispenza, Bruce Lipton, those are the guys that when I fell into this that I was listening to, and what they talk about is how we think that some things in life are actually hereditary. Oh, I got this because my mum had that
Yep.
condition, or I got that condition because my dad had that condition. But what they talk about with epigenetics is that it's not hereditary. It's all about making sure that you're giving yourself the best environment to thrive.
Ah,
So, is that changing your lifestyle? Is that changing your diet? Is that having different thoughts? Is
yeah,
that
right.
having, and Joe Dispenza talks about it quite a lot, that your personality becomes your personal reality, because what you tell yourself is effectively what comes in your life.
That's pretty cool.
If
Your
you want to,
personality becomes your personal
yeah,
reality.
and if you want to buy a white
That's
Tesla,
awesome.
all of a sudden you'll start seeing white Teslas everywhere, right? So it's just those little things.
I mean, I'm actually a strong believer in that. Without probably knowing that, I actually do this every day.
Yeah,
When I go brush my teeth, I'm like, I'm ready to kill the day. I'm like, ready for war, mate. Let's
yeah,
go.
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. I
So
tell myself that every day morning that I'm ready for war. I'm
yeah,
brushing my teeth, and I
and
am
then it
just
sets
automatically
you up
ready.
for the day, sets
Yeah.
your mindset, and regardless of what it's called, whether it's called quantum physics or epigenetics, there's something to be learned within that, which I was able to use in everyday life. That's why I found it so interesting, is that it's transferable.
Yeah.
You can use it in your personal life, you can use it in your work life. Certainly during the COVID time, when a lot of people were doing it tough and finding it really hard, I wasn't as impacted as my close friends or family, because I
Yeah.
was already doing certain things through learning about those
Epigenetics.
areas that nobody else really talks about.
Yeah.
That I was keeping myself on track and keeping myself above board. So I felt really lucky to have been in that situation, to be exposed to those things, to get through something like COVID, without the maybe the same pull on my mental health and other parts of my life. Yeah.
Yeah, mate, that's really, really cool. Like, I didn't even know epigenetics was a thing. I'm gonna go research it now fully.
Yeah, have a look at Bruce Lipton, Joe
Bruce Lipton.
Dispenza.
Yeah.
There's a guy, I'll probably not do his name any justice, but Itzar Benkoff.
Oh, yeah.
He did a book called Stalking the Wild Pendulum,
Yeah.
and it's an amazing read if you've got an interest in that. Yeah, I'll
Oh,
I'll
mate.
give you the
Yeah.
details after this. Yeah, and
Yeah,
you
yeah,
can have
sounds
a
good.
look, yeah.
And plus, we'll see if we can leave it in the comments as well for
Yeah,
people.
anyone
to pick
that's
it up.
interested. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Anyways, mate, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show. Thank you so much for making the time and sharing your journey, these valuable insights. It's been really cool. Thank you.
Thanks very much for having me. It's been a pleasure to be here. Thanks
All
so
right, mate.
much.
Cheers.